FIMAN.nc.gov. That's FIMAN, FIMAN.nc.gov. And over the next several days, likely afternoon showers will increase the threat of additional flash flooding, especially across eastern North Carolina. Yesterday, I went down east and met with first responders at two stops in Kinston and looked at damage caused by suspected tornadoes. We've activated more than 374 soldiers and airmen from the North Carolina National Guard and deployed swiftwater rescue teams that have been engaged in getting people to safety. Our Department of Transportation has been working to clear roads and to warn people about flooded areas and downed trees. We're grateful for their work and the efforts of all of our first responders. Government website or visit readync.gov for more information. Today, I'm joined by Emergency Management Director Will Ray, Transportation Secretary Joey Hopkins, Attorney General Josh Stein, the Adjutant General of the North Carolina National Guard, Major General Todd Hunt. The commander of our American Sign Language interpreter is David Payne. And behind the scenes, our Spanish language interpreters are Jackie Mativier and Erica Kugler. At this time, I will ask Director Ray for his update.
Thank you, Governor. Good morning. We're continuing to experience the impacts from Debby as the system fully exits the state today. Tornado touchdown in Greene County, community of Snow Hill at 2:08 a.m. on Thursday morning. The National Weather Service in Raleigh will be conducting damage assessments on the other reported tornadoes today. As of this morning, there are just under 20,000 power outages statewide. Utility partners remain engaged here at the state EOC and are continuing restoration operations statewide. In many areas, trees have fallen due to the extensive rainfall on already saturated ground. We are monitoring levels on a number of our river basins, where as of this morning, 5 flood gauges are at moderate or high flooding, including the Lumber River at Lumberton, the Tar River at Lewisburg, the Neuse River at Clayton, the Haw River, and the Lower PD River. An additional 7 flood gauges are for the Department of Environmental Quality. Our deployed swiftwater rescue teams remain on station across the state to support local operations as needed, and since Wednesday have had over 170 interactions. This could be structures searched or individuals evacuated or rescued. The men and women of the North Carolina National Guard and the State Highway Patrol also remain deployed across the state to support local jurisdictions, and as the skies begin to clear, aviation established by the North Carolina Office of EMS, our healthcare coalitions, and our partners in the state medical response system. The site in the Sandhills area became operational yesterday afternoon. As the rivers crest in the coming days and cleanup begins in areas that have experienced damage, please avoid travel if possible. If you must travel, please visit drivenc.gov to check in addition to the previously approved 66 counties. And as a reminder, this is to support initial emergency protective measures related to mass care, including evacuation and sheltering and direct federal assistance. As we look to transition from active response into recovery over the next week, we will work with our local jurisdictions on damage assessments to assist in determining eligibility for additional state or federal programs. The state's nearly 600 river flood gauges. As the governor said, visit fiman.nc.gov and sign up for alerts for the gauges closest to your home. Remember to utilize 911 only for emergencies. We would ask you to remain alert, informed, and check on your neighbors and those in your community who may need assistance. Together, taking care of our families, neighbors, and our community.
Thank you, Director Ray. Now we will hear from Transportation Secretary Joey Hopkins.
Thank you, Governor, and good morning. We peaked with about 290 road closures closed at 8:30 last night. As of just a few minutes ago, that's down to 205, and that's 10 primary routes. Main closures, Department of Information Technology to increase the bandwidth, and it should be working fine today. As has been stated, several counties experienced tornadoes or tornado-like winds yesterday as the storm passed through the state. Notably, our maintenance forces responded to and removed trees across Wilson County as a storm came through there and touched down. Our staff was better and need further repairs. Our crews are assessing this damage and will work to get those open as swiftly as possible. In other locations, we have trees that have fallen on power lines, and we're working with the local power companies. Once they deem it safe, we can work to clear and reopen these roads. And even though the storm has moved out quickly, rivers are expected to crest and are operating on a normal schedule today. The Wilmington Harbor had been closed to inbound and outbound vessel traffic, but it reopened to vessel traffic earlier this morning. We had also suspended or reduced runs on a number of our ferry routes in the eastern part of the state. But thankfully, all of our ferries are back on their normal schedule. However, I still recommend everyone check the ferry passenger service to resume later today once everything is cleared up. You can visit Amtrak.com for the latest schedules. Our Integrated Mobility Division has been in close contact with public transit systems across the state. As of late Thursday, there were 9 transit systems that had no service due to the storm and 9 others that were only providing limited service. We also had a few driver's license offices closed yesterday due to appointments will be rescheduled at a time that's convenient for our customers. Even though Debby has left our state, we're still seeing remnants from the storm, and I implore citizens to stay aware. Far too many people are killed when they try to drive through the flooded roads after storms have passed. Please don't let your guard down. And again, check Drive NC for road conditions and never drive.
To everyone impacted by the storm here in North Carolina and across the Southeast, especially the family and friends of those who lost their lives. Second, I want to thank all of our first responders for working nonstop to keep people safe, to rescue folks who are in distress. There is no job more important than saving the lives of North Carolinians, and they have done incredible work for our people. I also want to thank our utility workers and the DOT employees back in order after the storm. Here are some tips for folks who have been impacted by the storm. Beware of anyone showing up at your house offering to do some kind of service or repair. Unfortunately, we have a lot of experience with out-of-state companies coming and chasing storms and ripping off our people. Talk to your neighbors. Research companies before you're done. Finally, if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. I also want to remind folks to be on the lookout for price gouging. We've had a handful of complaints, 13 so far. When Governor Cooper signed the state of emergency, that triggers our state price gouging law, which prohibits any seller from charging too much for a good or service. In well-being during this state of emergency, please let my office know. You can file a complaint at 877-5-NO-SCAM or ncdoj.gov/price gouging. When we see these cases, we will act. We've won back more than $1 million for North Carolina consumers who were taken advantage of after storms in the past.
Questions, and for those who have questions, if you can come over to either side to the mics if you have questions. Adam?
Yeah, Adam Wagner from the News and Observer. This is for either the governor or Director Ray. On the dam breaches, could you provide any more detail about where those are and maybe also where the water is high right now?
Moore, Harnett, Cumberland, Robinson, Rowan, Wake, and Mecklenburg. Again, these are not ones that are urgently or imminently that we have imminent concerns about. These are ones that we are simply, along with DEQ and our local jurisdictions, keeping an eye on where the water levels are and what potential inundation could look like.
And there were some that already did breach, is that correct?
Correct.
Where are those?
There were some, I believe, in Harnett.
If so, where those occurred and any potential injuries outside that initial incident.
We have one confirmed storm death in Wilson County. There is an unconfirmed storm death in Rockingham County at this point, but we have to wait for the confirmation of that. That's
rebuilding from the damage that they had there.
Say that again, Michael.
The school that was damaged, has there been any talk yet with local officials about what assistance the state may provide in helping them with that?
So I talked with the superintendent yesterday about what they plan to do. They're going to get an assessment and inspection of the building. The Department of Public Instruction, they have insurance for this. We will work with them about any other streams of funding that would be available to them. The superintendent was very determined that he wanted to make sure that these children got to school and got their education, and so they were going to look at all of their options regarding what they would do next.
Attorney General Stein, are you able to talk any more just generally about?
It does not mean that there have been 13 instances of price gouging. We invite people to file complaints with us because it's difficult for folks to appreciate whether or not price gouging occurred. That's why we conduct investigations, and then if we conclude that there has been price gouging, we will act aggressively. Thank you.